Peace, family. So, another topic that I wanted to hit on real quick has to do with language and vocabulary and the fact that certain words seem to trigger us to where we only associate words with one particular thing. So, lately I've used words like source or the divine in relationship to talking about the creator, Elohim, God, the Most High. And I may at some point of time have used the word like energy, or if somebody used the word energy or vibration, oh, you're new age. Oh, you said divine and source, you're new age. First of all, what does new age even mean? Right? Do you know what that means? Second of all, do you know what the words that are being used means? Or are you just being triggered by the word itself? Now, I'm not going to act like certain words aren't associated with certain groups of people. If you hear somebody saying shalom, most high, todah, just certain words, you associate that with the Hebrew Israelite community or the Hebrew roots or the Hebrew community, right? So you assume that they're part of that community based on them using those words. Upon further inspection, you also find that they may or may not be walking with the Most High at all, right? So we have this thing where 50% of it is human nature and it's valid, right? We associate people based on certain symbols, certain words and vocabulary that they use, certain images, certain ways that they dress, or certain things are visual and auditory cues to let you know kind of what category that because we as humans like to put people in categories and like to categorize things. It makes it nice and neat and easy for us. So it kind of gives you an idea, which is valid, of where they may be coming from. But also the other half of that 50% is that it's not telling you actually anything about the person. It's not telling you about the person at all. And sometimes especially I've seen this Hebrew Israelite in the Hebrew Israelite community, people judge people and accept and embrace them. You see fringes and you see a shalom, and it's like, oh, my sister, my brother, oh, we in this truth. You don't know what they're in, to be quite frank. Yes, they are of a certain mindset, but you don't know what kind of heart and mind that they individually are of. They just are they fit the script, right, of a certain thing that we are familiar with, right? So people fit the script. If you see somebody with an ankh, wearing the ankh, or some African Pan African colors, whatever, then you kind of like, oh, okay, they coming from this angle. All right, you put them in that box. You see somebody with some crystals and and saying a shay, and or mention something about a chakra, then you okay, they in this category. They either in some new age stuff or they in some African spirituality. Okay, so we kind of, and for the most part you are somewhat accurate. But because this is how we associate. Somebody say, oh, praise the Lord, Jesus, Jesus will fix it and whatever. Okay, they're Christian, amen. Okay, you kind of know what category and box to put people in based on these things. All right, granted, I will give you that. We all do that. That's layer one. Okay, but layer two is you got to inspect a little bit further, right? You got to inspect a little bit further to really actually know anything about who you're dealing with, because even though they may be playing a script of a particular they may be dressed up in a particular character and role, doesn't mean that they embody that thing at all, be it good or bad. You understand? So while I uh can appreciate that a stranger who doesn't know me at all, who just come across a video and all they've known me say is certain things or whatever, that may make an assumption, that's one thing. But for people who are familiar, I would expect to do a little bit more inspection before coming to different conclusions. So, but anyway, the words that we use, I'm a word person. I'm into words, and the words that we use have meanings. Okay, the words that we use have meanings. What does the word mean? So it's strange to me when I use a word like source to refer to the creator, who is the source of all life, who we always say is the source of our life, the source of our strength, the source of everything good within us. The source To me, that word is self-explanatory, and that word is part of the English dictionary, and that word is means what it means. It does not belong to the New Age movement. Okay, so so if you're judging me as being New Age because I use the word source, you're not judging based off of much. Okay, so I don't know what else to say about that. I don't know what else to say about that. So yeah, so it's fair to say that yeah, you've seen a vocabulary change and there's reasons for that vocabulary change. Um, so ask me, you can ask me, why are you saying source instead of uh whatever other words? Why are you saying this word? You know, that's a question that would bring you some understanding of where I'm coming from. But we don't ask questions. We don't ask questions. We just jump to conclusions. And beyond jumping to conclusions, we make proclamations at people to tell them what they believe. Don't know me from Adam, and don't haven't asked me a thing, but you make proclamations about what I believe. Right? Have you seen me? What have you seen me do that is contrary to the scriptures and that is in alignment with New Age? Also, we use all these categories, and to be quite honest with you, there is no I haven't encountered too many groups of people that don't have some truth within whatever. Okay, so there was a sister who was a part of the New Age. Most people would consider her New Age, will put her firmly in that category. I don't know how she categorizes herself, but most people would, for many have enough reasons to put her firmly within New Age category. um and she gave a description of love one time, and I'm telling you, of all these years of being a Bible believer, I've never heard anyone within the faith describe love as biblically sound as she described love. Like her description of love was very simple and was very scripturally sound. Like it pretty much summed up the New Testament. Like it was very sound. But she is not a Bible believer, even to my knowledge, and would firmly be considered part of New Age. But her description and understanding of the function of love, and how she laid it out, is completely biblical, completely in alignment with what Yeshua was teaching. So are you going to now say that that wasn't truth because she said it? No, she has an understanding of. She said it from her understanding, right? So she had a divine, you know, understanding of the function of love. But I'm sorry, she doesn't belong to your particular religion. So I heard that, and I was like, wow, I received that. So should I not receive that because it came from her and she's in New Age and it can't be right? It got to be corrupt, or can I say that all good things come from above? And anything that's good that comes out of anybody's mouth or anywhere where I get it from is, if it's in alignment with source, then it is good and it's from source. That doesn't mean that everything else that somebody says or does comes from source, but everything that you biblical believers say and do does not come from source either. So we got to judge everybody by the same standard. Nobody, right, has the whole picture. Everybody, but everybody has a part. I've gained things from all types of with people who call themselves or relate to themselves in whatever categories, uh, you know, whatever background or philosophy that they're coming from, whatever their angle is. I've heard truth come from them. We think that just because somebody doesn't believe in the whole doctrine of salvation, heaven, hell, judgment, come to Yeshua, if they don't believe, if they're not speaking that particular uh, doctrine and understanding, then everything else that they say is false. I don't hold to that truth. I don't hold to that as being truth. Okay, I don't hold to that. Okay, I hold to the fact that dissolve all the categories, dissolve all those things. And I don't mean blend them together. I mean dissolve that when you're trying to perceive and trying to see and have eyes to see. For an example, if whatever you have in your house. Or let's say whatever your mother or your father has in their house. You grew up in their house. You know everything that's in your parents' house, right? You grew up there, you know every picture on the wall, you know what y'all's forks look like, you know what the tablecloths look like, you know what kind of throw pillows y'all have. Everything in your parents' house, you know what's in there. So if somebody were to take something from your parents' house and to have it and take it to their house, and then you go visit their house and you're looking around and you're like, that's my mama's throw pillow. That's my mama's throw pillow. It's got the little stain on it that it's been on there ever since JoJo drew with Kool-Aid on his mouth on the pillow. That's my mama's pillow. You'd identify it, right? No matter whose house it was in, you'd identify it and you'd reclaim it. Hey, give me this back. This is my mama's. you know. So you can identify. You should be able to identify what comes from the house that you say that you're a part of, the kingdom, the house of the Father. You should be able to see something that belongs to that house, no matter where you are and where you see it. And you're not going to now reject it just because somebody else got that in their house too. Because guess what? Everything originated from the source. Some things and some people take a left turn with it, take a right turn with it. Some people may taint it, some people may flip it. But that doesn't mean that the origins of it didn't come from source. We got to learn how to have eyes to see and ears to hear, recognize the voice of source, the Father. My sheep know my voice. And know, identify that in the midst of wherever it may be. I mean, I told somebody this and they lost it. I've told people this and they're like, oh, absolutely not. Nobody else has the truth. The truth is the only place the truth can be found is within the scriptures. And I'm like, what do you mean? You can't perceive truth anywhere else but in this book. You can't perceive truth anywhere else. You can't see God anywhere else but inside this book here. What were they doing before the book? That's interesting. That is crippling. And I don't think that you really believe that. I just think that you're following the script of religion. You can't believe that. You can't believe that you only could see God and see truth within the scriptures. You can't believe that. I don't believe that you're living like that. I believe that that's what you are trained to say and trained to respond when you hear people like me saying some of the things that I've been saying. But like I said, my goal now is to break out, dismantle this religious box that is a barrier. Okay, it's an unnecessary barrier. All right. And we have to have the courage and the faith and the strength to know that we are divine beings that can walk in this earth and be fruitful and multiply and have dominion and be image bearers of the universal truth and love and life and light that emanates from our Creator. Okay. That's what I believe. Personally, I have always been spiritually multilingual. Okay. And I have the gift of tongues and interpretation. Okay. When it comes to being able to discern and to see across the board. You could be coming from wherever. I'm going to see truth. I don't care if you're a Muslim. I don't care if you're a Buddhist. I don't care if you're a Hindu. I don't care if you're atheist. I don't care who or what you are. I'm going to be able to hear what you're saying and hear the truth in it or not truth. I'm gonna be able to discern what you're doing, if it's love or not love. I don't care who you are, right? I can hear what you're saying, and I can discern what you're saying. I can hear. I can translate. You use this word over here, but I can translate what you're saying into my language. Okay, I can translate. Okay, you're saying it according to the Hebrew language. You're saying it according to Christian language. You're saying it according to a New Age talk. You're saying it according to African spirituality. You're saying it according to New Thought. You're saying it according to Taoism. You're saying it according to this philosopher. You're saying it according to. I can hear it in different languages. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I can hear it. I can translate what you're saying from different languages and different angles and perspectives. Because guess what? We all didn't come up in the same Christian environment or the same Hebrew Israelite family or the same whatever. We didn't all come up in the same. There's a big wide world out here. So people are saying the same things sometimes. I'm not saying that every religion is saying the same thing, but I'm saying that within every religion, You can find people with truth. Just like everybody who's a Hebrew is not saying the same thing. Trust and believe. Y'all know that. But with that doesn't mean that within the people there aren't people who are saying the truth. But amongst Christians, everybody ain't saying and doing the same thing. That don't mean that within Christianity there aren't people who are saying and doing truth and love. Why we can see this with certain things, but for some reason we don't see it. As a black woman, as black people, we hate it when people generalize on us, and other people of other cultures say, "Oh, black people are like this," or "Oh, y'all are ghetto," or "Oh, y'all dumb," or "Oh, y'all don't know nothing, y'all ignorant," this and that. We hate that because we're like, listen, we are a broad group of people. There are people within us that are highly intelligent, but then there are also people amongst us that are ignorant. That we all exist amongst this group of people, but you can't categorize and put everybody within one box. People are people. People are diverse groups of people. Get to know the person, get to know the individual. Let's get to know individuals again and see what this individual is actually talking about and what they're actually saying. What do you mean, sis? What do you intend, brother? What do you mean by this? Let's get to being curious and asking questions again versus thinking and assuming that we know everything based on what we think and what we think we know, that we know everything before we open up our mouths to talk to somebody. You hear somebody for 3 minutes and you think that you understand something. That is ignorant. That is ignorant. To think that you know something. We think that we know so much. We need to learn and be students and listen and hear from different people. Because if you've only listened to the people that look and sound and talk like you're indoctrinated, you're brainwashed into a certain small dynamic, and you're crippled, and you don't realize it or know it. You're not strong enough to walk into, what I'm saying? It's kind of like our immune systems. If you never leave the house, like you feel like you're protecting yourself, and you are to a certain degree. If you stay home and nobody in your house has COVID or something, you're never gonna get COVID. That's a guarantee. You can't just get COVID if you sit in the house. So if your goal is just stay alive, and you're so immune compromised that that's what you have to do. That's what some people have to do. Maybe spiritually you're so compromised that that's what you have to do, and that's no. Listen, do what you have to do to stay alive, but don't tell everybody else they got to stay in the house too. Everybody's not immune compromised. Other people have strong immune systems. So when you are among other people, and you have to fight things, your immune system has to work day to day because it's coming in contact with different viruses, bacteria, different things, and it has to work day to day. It becomes stronger and more able and capable of handling things. Yeah, you may end up catching something, but then your body learns how to fight that off and how to sustain in the midst of that, right? You may get a little tempted, you may get a little confused, you may get a little whatever, but then you learn how to handle that and how to combat that, and you become stronger, right? So that's how it is in the natural with that. So in the spirit, you have to do the same thing. In the world, you have to do the same thing. You have to be able to tolerate hearing other things and strengthen yourself so that everything you hear ain't leading you astray. Everything you hear is not a temptation. Everything you hear is not a reason to run. Everything you see is not a demon. Everybody's not pagan. You have to learn how to live in the world. All right. So I enjoy being spiritually multilingual. I'm always judged. I mean, within Christianity, I was because I see something different, but especially within the Hebrew Israelite community and the Hebrew community, definitely was because I've always been talking a little bit different because I'm like, yo, I see. I'm not gonna see. I'm not gonna act like I don't see what I see and I don't know what I know. I'm not gonna put myself in a box just because other people want to be in a box. So yeah, so I can see and hear and understand people. Now I've had my areas of judgment also, things that I didn't know a lot about, that I judged harsher than I should have. I've had my faults. I've had my areas where I'm just kind of like I'm nervous, I'm scared because of what I've been taught and what I've been indoctrinated and what I've been brainwashed, which is back to that detox. Because does the scriptures really say X, Y, and Z, or is this what we have said that it's saying? And I'm not talking about when I talk about this, I'm talking about the things that we all agree upon, the script that we stick to, that we define as being sound. A lot of it's not actually it's sound. It's completely sound in accordance with the doctrine and the dogma that we believe and that we all collectively agree upon. It's completely sound based on that. So when somebody steps outside of that, it's not that they stepped outside of source. truth is that they stepped outside of what we have agreed upon as being the sound boundaries. Somebody steps outside of that and starts talking a different script, and we go crazy because we don't. You stepped out of script, sis. What you don't? What you saying? We're not supposed to say that like that. That's not how we say that. That's not on the script. I don't know how to respond to you now because you off script. You understand? So we gotta come on. I'm just saying. All right, so I enjoy being spiritually multilingual and being able to have the gift of tongues and the gift of translation. you know. So I don't know. I thought other people had it too. So I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. Shalom. Peace to you.